Welcome to this painting tutorial. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to show you how I painted this Ork Burna. This one has a custom Mega Blasta and his name is Krogskull Drakka. This is part of the starter set for orcs on the kill team, and I tried to paint it as best as possible like you see it in the box, and trying to be as true to the color scheme so that you can paint it exactly the same. And I think I did a pretty good job, and I hope you like this video. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below, and I'm going to start. I'm going to start by priming the model in gray. For that I'm going to use Vallejo's Surface Primer Gray through an airbrush, and this is going to give me a very thin and very light base so that I can start laying on those green skin tones. And because I want it to be very light, I want a light base coat as an undercoat to start painting. You can use any other primer that you want, but I would recommend using some gray or white if you can. So before we start, I wanted to show you what I did with this model, and is that I didn't glue on the arms completely. I just glued them to the gun and stuck them to the model with some poster tack. And I'm just going to remove it and show you that it's not completely assembled. This will allow me to paint a little bit more comfortably because it has a lot of detail and it takes a lot of space, that big gun. So there's a lot of ways of painting orc skin, and I'm going to do my preferred way that I would like my orc skin to be is with Straken green. And this is a very light muted green color. It's not very bright and saturated as the usual green that you see. This is more like the artwork in the box that you see when you buy the Krogskull boyz box set. And to build it on that color, I'm going to start with this light color, and I'm going to use it on a light base so that it's easy to paint. And you can build it up with other darker colors before and then working yourself up to this color, but I think this is a lot quicker and a lot easier. And that's it. Just start base coating all of the skin and being very careful to thin it down and not let it cover up a lot of detail, and just pick all those areas of skin really quickly. So I'm working in both the arms and the body at the same time. I'm not showing both of them. Next I'm going to use Rhinox hide, and with this I'm going to paint the pants and all of the dark leather areas that you would like to paint on this model. In this particular model, it's just the pants, the same as the skin, just thin it down a little bit and be careful to cover all of your area without producing any brush marks or paint crumbs or any thick blobs of paint. Once that's done, I'm going to move on to Leadbelcher, and with this color I'm going to paint all of the silver or steel iron parts around the model. And there are a lot. This one's like a mech boy or something like that, and he has a lot of those areas. And this is fairly easy. Just try to cover these areas without painting on the other areas you've painted already, and make sure to thin it down. And I'm using, for most of these areas that I've been painting, I've been using a size 2 Kolinsky brush for watercolor, and I'm just trying to cover these areas really quickly. This is a round brush, and it's a big brush so that you can paint large areas easily. And that's it. Once that's done, this is how the model looks like, and I've been working on the gun as well by separate. And after that I'm going to start painting the black with Vallejo model color black. You can use any other black you want, but I'm going to paint most of the details that are armor plates and the boots and stuff like that in black. I don't know which culture this orc boy is, but he looks a little bit like Goths. He has a little bit of red and other colors as well, but he looks like Goths. And if you were going for Goths, you can paint it the same way. But if you want this boy or any other of your boys to look like a different culture, you can choose to paint these areas on the respective colors that you want, and they're going to look different. Once it's done, I'm going to move on to the leather, and this is a lighter color leather, and I'm going to use Steel Legion Drab for that. This is going to go for the belt and any leather wrappings around guns or arms or stuff like that. You can use this color for that if you want. And I'm going to use the same brush, and being very careful not to paint on the other areas that I've already painted. And I'm going to start picking all these areas very carefully. Once that's done, I'm going to start moving on to the bronze areas. For that, I'm going to use Balthasar Gold. And with this color, I'm going to pick all of the places that are going to be like copper-ish or bronze. And there's a lot of them on this particular model. You just have to be careful and pick them up carefully. I'm going to start using a detail brush to do that because I don't want to paint on other areas that I've already painted, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to start using smaller brushes from now on. Next, I'm going to paint some other details. For that, I'm going to use Mephiston red, and with this color, I'm going to pick on some accents here and there, some metal pieces, metal armor pieces, and places on the gun. And these are just little accents. You also have to pick on the eye of the model as well. And any other area that you would like to paint red, you can paint it with this color. If you're going for a different clan, you can use another color, and that's it. Just be careful not to paint on other areas that you've already painted. I'm going to use a small layer brush, the smallest layer brush that I can, and get on those tiny areas. Once that's done, I'm going to move on to the blues, and these are going to go for the electric plasma around the model, and it's going to be Sotek green, and this is going to be just the base coat and the base color for this. And it's just the sort of light bulbs and light like energy balls on the head and on the gun. It's not a lot, but it's gonna look pretty cool at the end. Next, I'm going to use Celestra gray, and with this color I'm going to paint all of the white areas around the model. There's this particular lightning bolt symbol on the gun that needs to be white, so I'm going to use this as a base. And any other white area around the model that you want to be white, you can base coat it with this color first and then paint it white on top, and that's it. Once that's done, I'm going to pick on those teeth, and those need to have a good base color for bone. I'm going to use Sandri dust, and with a small layer brush I'm going to pick one by one, being very careful not to paint on other areas that I've already painted. And yeah, just be careful, thin it down and start painting those teeth. Once that's done, we have all of the colors laid on the model and it's completely colored. I'm going to start washing the model and giving a little bit of depth to those shadows. I'm going to start with Biel tan green, and this is going to be pin washing or painting just in the recesses of the orc skin. If you want, you can shade the whole thing, but you're going to have to clean up with Straken green again, all of the areas that are not in shadow. If you want to do that, you can do that, but what I'm going to do is just paint this on the recesses, and if I put a little bit too much, I can clean it up later with Straken green, but this is a lot quicker and neater for me, so this is what I'm going to do. And just go through all of those shaded areas and pin wash those little lines with fine layer brush. Once it's done, I'm going to use Agrax Earthshade, and with this color I'm going to shade the rest of the models, even the reds and blues. But on those, I'm going to use it just on the recesses. On the rest of the model, I can use it all over if I want. Orcs are not that clean, and they don't need to be neat and clean on those areas. Agrax Earthshade makes it look like it's dirty and beat up. So it's good to use it liberally on the rest of the areas. I just want the reds and blues to look cleaner, and but the teeth, the metals, and every other the leather and areas like that, they don't need to be very neat, so I'm just going to slap it all over. Once it's done, the model looks like this, and you can leave it like this. The model looks pretty cool already, and this is a good tabletop standard if you want just all the colors and shaded. That's very good. I'm going to start layering the skin with Nurgling green, and this is just an edge highlight on all of the edges that you can find on the skin. We already have 3 colors. We have the shaded color, Biel tan green. We have the main color, which is Straken green, and we get a highlight with Nurgling green, and that's it. That's a very good, effective, and easy way to paint the orc skin, in my opinion. And I'm going to just pick up those sharpest edges around all of the muscles, the face details and stuff like that, and it looks pretty cool in my opinion. And that's it. I'm just being very patient with a small layer brush and picking these areas carefully and having thin paint so that it flows easily, and that's it. Next, I'm going to use Eshin gray, and with this color I'm going to start highlighting the blacks, and this is going to be an edge highlight on all of the details on all of the sharpest edges of the black. On the boots, we're going to try to follow the contours of those folds and all of the places where light hits. And you can see a reflection of light from your light source when you're painting. You can pick those areas on the boots and just the sharpest areas on all of the other blacks, just to give them a highlight and make them look a little bit more three-dimensional. The next color that I'm going to use on the blacks is Dawnstone, and this color is not really necessary. You can leave it as it was. But Dawnstone on the very sharpest edges of the black is going to make them pop as an extreme highlight. It looks pretty good. I like doing this. So I'm just going to do that and make them pop a little bit more just on the sharpest areas, on the corners of these areas, and on the very brightest parts of the boots. Once it's done, I'm going to start highlighting the brown, and for that I'm going to use Scrag brown. This color is going to go on all of the folds of the darker leather areas, such as the pants, and I think that's it for this model in particular. But I'm going to start to paint those folds and areas that are reflecting the most light, those very sharp defined edges and places like that, just to give them an extra color pop and make them look a lot more three-dimensional from a distance. I also decided to use an extreme highlight for the pants as well. For that I'm going to use Deathclaw brown, and this is going to go just on the brightest parts of the pants and on the sharpest edges where you see a very bright highlight. You can paint the very corner or the very edge of a fold, and it's going to look that much more bright and it's going to pop a lot more. Once it's done, I'm going to use Baneblade brown, and with this color I'm going to highlight all of the edges of the lighter brown colors, and this is going to be very easy. Just use the side of the small layer brush and put it on all of those edges of the straps, the leather straps, the belts and stuff like that. Just give it a small highlight with this is going to look very bright and it's gonna make it pop. Once that's done, I'm going to do the same process for the reds with Wild Rider Red, and I'm going to use this color with a small layer brush as well to pick on those edges. Just the edges is fine, just 2 colors, and these areas are going to pop and look pretty good. After that's done, I'm going to move on to the white, and for that I'm going to use Vallejo model color white, and I'm going to do pretty much the same thing that I've been doing for all of the other colors. Just pick on those edges to make them pop. And I'm going to use the same small layer brush, and they're just small details, so they go by really quick, and they're mostly on the gun and on the arms. Next comes the most fun part for me, and this is painting with Temple Guard blue. We need to freehand some lightning bolt effects on the blue areas, or the blue orbs and light bulbs. We're going to just use a small layer brush and just freehand some lightning bolt designs that you like. And this is not going to be very noticeable at first because we need to highlight it further, but try to do the smallest line you can get with your brush, and just try to color in some lightning bolts. After that, I'm going to come back with Baharoth blue, and with this color I'm going to color in those lightning bolts again with the smallest or thinnest line inside of the already colored in lightning bolt that we did on the previous step. But this time just try to concentrate it on the places where the lightning bolt splits or where it's thickest. This is going to be a very bright, almost white blue, and the transition from a dark blue to the brightest blue is going to make it look a lot more energetic and bright, and it's going to look like a lightning bolt, and it looks pretty cool in my opinion. Next I'm going to use Ushabti bone, and with this color I'm going to highlight those teeth. I'm going to try to let a little bit of the old color behind towards the bottom of the teeth where it's darkest, and with this color I'm going to color in towards the tips so it looks sharper. And in this step I'm going to try to paint most of the teeth, and I'm going to give an extra highlight after this just to make it look that much sharper. After that I'm going to give it that highlight that I was talking about with Screaming Skull, and this is just towards the points of the teeth. You just need to make the smallest little line towards the top. Just make sure to color in that tip of the teeth, and it's going to look sharper and it's going to look a lot more cleaner and brighter. Next, I'm going to start highlighting those brass or bronze areas with Runelord brass, and with this color I'm going to pick on those edges that are silver or bronze or goldish that you have around the model. And here I'm just trying to pick on those areas that reflect the most light and the sharpest edges. It's mostly an edge highlight, but in those round areas on the energy things on the head of the model, you can just paint it towards the light, and that's it. And to finish off this paint scheme, I'm going to use a little bit of Stormhost silver, and with this color I'm going to color in all of the edges of the silver or the metallic steel and stuff like that. And on the bronze I'm also going to use it, but just on the corners and the places where edge highlights intersect, and I'm going to paint those areas with this color as well, so they look a little bit more beat up and metallic silver, and it's going to look pretty good. And with this we're finished with the paint job. Don't forget to paint the eye of the model, and you can do it with either Mephiston red or Wild Rider red if you want. You can use other colors as well, you can use yellow if you want, but that's pretty much it. And this is the finished model. I have to say I had a lot of fun painting this model. It's actually pretty simple. The thing is that you have to pay attention to those details and be very careful not to paint on areas that you don't want to. But most of the areas is just a couple colors, or 2 or 3 colors, 1 base and 2 highlights. For the skin is very simple, and for most of the other areas it's very simple as well. And you don't have to be very neat because these are orcs. Just make sure that the highlights are well placed on the skin, and it's gonna pop a lot and it's gonna look pretty good. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you find it entertaining and helpful, and if you did, please like the video, comment on it, and subscribe to the channel to see more videos in the future. Please leave comments and questions if you have any questions or comments about this video and the ones you would like to see me do in the future. I would really like to know your opinion, and I would surely listen to it. And that's all for me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. You stayed. Great. Thank you very much for supporting my channel, and if you would like to become a patron, there is a link to my Patreon page in the description below. Your contributions help pay for my work and keeps the channel going. A single $1 a month is more than enough, and you can cancel at any time. If you can't, don't worry, you can support my channel by simply watching my videos and sharing them with your friends. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.